Welcome to Save British Farming. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and comment below. So the weekend has been largely dominated by the panic about migration rise in Britain, and the Conservatives in particular in a flat spin about it because, of course, they made lots of promises with Brexit and that it would ensure that people would stop coming over here. It is always the case that the Australian point system was actually something which encouraged migration. So it's no surprise to those of us who understood that. But what is surprising is that in getting everybody to focus on the migration numbers, nobody's focusing on the increase in the death numbers in Britain, which are shocking. Added to which, the chaos in our hospitals, I'm sure, is adding to those numbers.
Latest figures show it's even higher. It's even higher. It does look like it's coming down, but those numbers could well be revised. And it got up to over 700,000 in 2022. But even more striking is if you look back through history. So we're going to take that same statistic, net migration, as a percentage of the population, going all the way back to the Victorian period here. And where you can see the story. We have never seen anything quite like this. Actually, for most of the 19th century, people were leaving the country in net terms. But then you have this kind of period, hundreds of thousands under David Cameron, and then post-Brexit, it went through the roof. And when we just look back at those more recent numbers, OK, there's a bit of context that's worth just remembering here. Of course, 2016, you had Brexit, the EU referendum, then you had COVID, so you can probably note that period there. So, migration dropping down a lot there, a lot of people leaving as well. But then it's those new Brexit rules and new immigration rules coming in that really kickstarts that big leap in migration, in net migration. And when you look at where people are coming from or indeed going to, well, this is EU citizens. And you can see before Brexit, it was relatively strong, hundreds of thousands, and then into negative territory after Brexit. That's EU citizens leaving the UK. Then you've got UK citizens, and then consider this, non-EU citizens coming into the UK in their droves, really, faster than we've ever seen before. And the interesting thing is, if we break that down, so dig into those red bars and just look at what are the reasons that people are coming for, a lot of it is work. A lot of it is work. Actually, the second biggest chunk is work. But then you've got studies. So students, and particularly after Brexit, those new rules came in, a lot of students coming into the UK. And then you've got, well, other categories. But notably, look at this. This is Ukraine and Hong Kong. So big numbers coming in from Ukraine and Hong Kong. But it's not actually enough to explain the big leap. It's much smaller than this, much smaller than work as well. And also worth saying as well, you've got illegal immigration as well. It's quite a small slice. It's about kind of 50,000 compared to these big numbers here. But let's dig in finally to work, because it's worth just asking, where are people working? Where are they coming to work? And you've got various different strands we can break this down to. You've got temporary workers, other work as well. But if you look at skilled work, the main thing that sticks out is this. Look, it's health and care. People are coming from around the world, particularly non-EU, to work in the health system, in the NHS. That is a big part of the explanation alongside study.
What is frustrating is that immigration always seems to be coupled with this rhetoric that we should be able to train our own to do the jobs. However, they never explain that we have an ageing, top-heavy population. The baby boom generation are living longer than ever, and that generation and generations afterwards have had less children. So we have a mushroom population, which is why we need to welcome immigration with open arms so that there are people to run the country. I think the reason that people have started to blame immigration is because the Conservatives in 2010 started starving money from our public services and from our councils. And that has given the impression that things are crowded. But it all comes down to policy choices of this government. And you only have to look back pre-2010 when we had a Labour government. None of these problems existed.